Welcome to This Is Life. Today we have an amazing guest on the show. She's beautiful. She's an Instagram star, rising YouTuber, and yes, she does have the perfect skin. Welcome, Savannah Palacio.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so again, This Is Life is it's really about sharing people's stories, right? I love meeting new people and just giving you opportunity. And of course, we have a model here, someone who does, Instagram and kind of maybe you'll get to find out a little more about what that entails. I guess we'll first start off. Instead of telling, your whole life story, what is one thing that has made you who you are today? What do you think?
Ooh, one thing that has made me who I am today. I guess I would say just all the times that I've ever failed at something, it's taught me how to be tenacious, which is something that's actually really important. Just, I mean, in this Instagram life that I'm living, but also just in life in general. Just, learning through trial and error what works for you and what doesn't. And so I guess in this world that I put myself in social media, you have to try to find your niche. And I think, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm kind of getting there. So just my failures, everything that I've done and I've failed at, which has led me here. So yeah.
It's interesting that you start with that because most people try to hide their failures. Like, what is
Oh no.
Well, I will say, I think for you to even just come on a new show like this, it does speak to your character. Like, and the first thing you
Sure.
say is about your failures. So, is why go there? Most people wouldn't go there. That's pretty impressive. Are you? Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Well, I would like to start off by saying, this is, I mean, I don't even know how many viewers you get, honestly. Because to me, it doesn't care. When I was first starting off with Instagram, which was only a year ago, I remember reaching out to, sorry, give me 1 second. I have to
No, it's fine.
close my bedroom door. My mom is vacuuming the house right now, of course, out of all times to do it. So a year ago when I was starting off Instagram, you know, it was kind of hard because if you don't have a name for yourself or status, no one really holds you to any type of regard. So I had just graduated college. I knew I was going to take a gap year. I didn't want to work for anyone because I've had many jobs throughout college. And so I figured I would rather work for myself. And I kind of already had a small following on Instagram. I only had like 10 to 12,000 followers. And I figure I try to give it a shot. And when I was reaching out to companies or photographers, no one ever emailed me back because I was so small. So when I get emails from, people like you who have small audiences, I try to give them some type of attention because I wish that it's what people had done with me. And now it's funny because those same companies that didn't want to work with me before are so quick to want to work with me now, which is understandable. But um, I don't know. I guess I've realized how quickly people will treat you differently because of your follower count. So
Yeah, that's.
yeah.
Do you find it hard to find because you have like 150,000 on Instagram, right, or more? It's 106 almost.
Almost. No, I think I have like
That's
140
it. I mean, again,
something.
that's very impressive. Do you find it hard to find
Thanks.
because of that? People want they want to tag on to your success. Like, is it hard to
Yeah.
find genuine relationships? Like, or do you think you know what I mean? Like, or is it
Hmm.
through and or maybe that's not even maybe you don't seek out just friendships or relationships through Instagram. Maybe you keep that separate, like a work thing, or maybe
Right.
do you blend the two?
It's actually a question I get a lot from all different types of people. Luckily for me, I didn't start in this world until a year ago. So I had a normal upbringing. I went to high school, I went to college. I met all my really close friends, luckily, and I was able to form all those bonds and relationships before I had any type of notoriety online. So I don't really find it hard to meet genuine people because I've had the opportunity to do so before social media. But in social media, I've also been very lucky to meet a lot of really awesome people. I mean, I am a firm believer in you are what you attract. So if you are a real person and you keep it real 100% of the time and you're honest with yourself and with people around you, I think that you're going to attract that. So luckily for me, I feel like I've met a lot of really cool girls, other models, just people like in the industry. I try to keep my personal life as private as possible, just because it is hard having a
Yeah.
private life. when your life is online. But I think I've gotten the hang of it now. But it is kind of hard to find a balance
Well,
sometimes.
I think that's a bad rap. Well, I think it is a bad rap that models get or Instagram people that, authenticity, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, they're just fake. They doing tan line, fake tans, boobs, the whole works, Photoshop. It's
The lips, the butt, I mean
is that
everything.
something
It's
that's
everything
you have to
nowadays.
fight against to stay authentic? Are you being pressured? Is it that like is that what everyone around you is like? Well, we got to do this. You got to do that to stay a part of the clique or
Um,
whatever.
I feel like people who uh, and I already feel like if someone hears this and they clip it, they're just gonna get so mad at
No,
me for
I
saying I have
love the
nothing wrong
truth.
with plastic surgery. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
plastic surgery. Please, if you ever feel the need to change for a better life, please go do it. But I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to change because they have nothing else to
Yeah.
offer. So, I mean, that's just my own personal opinion that doesn't go for everyone, obviously, but I mean, I've never been pressured to be someone that I am not on social media because I've gotten to where I am on social media by being who I am. So I feel like if I just keep doing me, I'm just going to keep growing how I've been. So I would say the pressure for me hasn't been there, but I can definitely see, I've definitely seen a lot of my friends and people that I know being pressured to maybe act differently than they otherwise would.
Okay. That's tough because I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it takes some character. It's like not to be able to hold firm to something. It's kind of because I
Yeah.
guess since it is so new to you, like you said, you had that foundation. Obviously, I think having
Yeah.
those core people in your life probably gives you some stability when, certainly when you skyrocket on success. And I know, like, and that's and I know from what I've seen so far. I try not to do tons of research. I mean, on the people, but you know, I liked your content. The stuff you put out. I've watched your YouTube
Thanks.
videos, of course, a bunch of them. Is that something? Now that's newer. Now you post very sporadically on that. Is that something you want to push more, or is it just whenever you feel like it, sort of thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love YouTube. I think that there's so much more to offer on YouTube. I've always been so hesitant with YouTube, even when I was young, because everybody thought everyone who was on YouTube was so weird, you know?
Well,
So
thank you.
I didn't want to be, that weird kid in high school. Yeah. I mean, when I was in junior high and high school, it was like I would go home and I would watch Jenna Marbles on YouTube, and everybody knew her and everybody loved her. But the moment you said, "Oh, I wanted to start a YouTube," everyone was like, "Oh, you're
Oh,
weird." So I finally built up the courage years later to start up a YouTube, and I love it. I'm almost mad at myself for giving into all the peer pressure before when I was young and not starting it sooner. But yes, YouTube is very sporadic right now because I've had a lot of technical difficulties. I was traveling in the Philippines and
yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm constantly on the road. I'm constantly on the road, so it's hard because I do have someone that edits my
Okay.
videos. Because I'm not going to pretend like I'm a good editor. I know basic stuff, but I need help. So I do plan on trying to make that more consistent. It was kind of in the beginning of this year. I was posting once a week, but with traveling, it's hard to get my editor footage. So hopefully, I can do that more often. I do love that. I also heard earlier you used to do more into gaming. I'm trying to get into the whole live stream
Okay.
act too. I want to do Twitch more. I actually did my first
I
Twitch
did. I saw
stream
that
last Friday, I think, and it was
because of your
so
sister.
fun.
Is it
I've
big into it or something? Right? You said that.
my
Yeah.
little sister, yeah, my little sister, she's 10 years younger than
Okay.
me. She keeps me young. She's crazy. It's like I'm looking back in time, like into a mirror, and I'm looking at myself. It's like it's so scary. But yeah, I actually was a guest on this other streamer's Twitch, and that was my first introduction to it. And luckily, all of his audience really liked me, and so
Of course.
they have transferred over to Instagram, and I always go live on Instagram.
Okay.
And everyone still thinks that it's weird, and I just don't care anymore. And so they always tell me on my live, they're like, "Why aren't you on Twitch? Like you go live on Instagram all the time. You should just go live on Twitch." And so that's what I'm doing now. So
Okay.
hopefully this year will
Exciting.
be more Instagram, more
Well, yes.
Twitch.
Go. Well, guys,
Yeah,
go. I'm gonna have the links in the description. Make sure you go follow her on YouTube and
perfect.
Instagram and all that. So you must.
Yes.
Yeah, Twitch is it's a different beast than YouTube. I will admit. It's
Yeah.
I think if you can find a niche,
Definitely.
find something that you want to stream about, and then who knows, go from there. Okay, so let's go back to your modeling.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what I think a lot of people don't really know what it's like to be what is it like to be a model, you know, on Instagram, because you see the very famous people, right? The millions of people, but I feel like there's
Right.
not many videos, there's not many things about like how do you like what is a day like, cuz you're I guess you're is your medium insta is 100,000 or I mean 150,000. I guess it's probably a smaller Instagram account, right? If you were to classify small, medium,
Definitely.
large, you're
Yes.
probably in the smaller. But so what is it like
Definitely still small.
for a smaller Instagram who is successful? Like you say you were in the Philippines. Was that for like a shoot, or like who is booking you for all this, or is it on your own time?
So half of it, most of it is on my own. When I was younger, I was able to belong to an agency, and you have managers and everything. But growing up with all of that, I used to do acting when I was younger, and so I would do acting and then a little bit of modeling. And that was just like to save money for college. My mom thought that it was,
Yeah.
a good idea at the time. So I grew up with that,
Got to show off that skin,
and
the perfect Filipino Latino skin. It's like a combination of
yeah,
the
I
gods
am.
came together or something.
Right. My parents would agree with you, I would say. But I grew up with it, and then I kind of when I decided to get back into the industry, I just thought, you know what, let's see what I can do on my own. So most of it now is on my own. Some of it does kind of go through my mom. Other times, I just get jobs through other
Uh huh.
jobs. So this past weekend, I had a shoot for IGK, which is a pretty big hair brand here in the
Okay.
US. And they actually sent me some products when I was in the Philippines to promote on my Instagram. They really liked the video that I put out on my story for them and the photo that I took for them. And they liked it so much that they brought me in for a shoot. So most of my shoots are done kind of that way. So, like, Forever 21 is a pretty big brand that everyone knows that I do a lot of work
Yeah.
for. They were actually one of the first brands to reach out to me. I remember getting that email and I was like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? It was so crazy. I didn't realize um, how lucky I was at the time, but I definitely felt lucky because a huge company like that reaching out to someone as small as I was, honestly, I thought that it was unheard of. And
Yeah.
so sent me some clothes after a few parcels. They sent me a few packages, which are what I call parcels. So after a few parcels going back and forth, they decided to bring me to their studio here in LA to do some photo stuff for their social media. So it's
Wow.
definitely something that I've gotten lucky with, I feel. I haven't exactly had to work, I feel like, as hard as some people. And I hate saying that because everybody wants to say that they work so hard, and I do work hard, but I have gotten very lucky, and I have met a lot um, of the right people, and I've been at the right place at the right time, and I've just gotten lucky. That's it.
No, yeah. So maybe as far as a little detail, like you don't have to give numbers and stuff, but because people probably don't know the
hmm
process. So when they reach out to you, now do you get like, is it a contract, or they just pay you one lump sum, or they pay you after you do the shoot? Like, how does that kind of work on
It
that?
depends. It depends on the company. It depends on what they're asking for. It is all circumstantial, I would say. But most of the time, they offer you, like, if they're bringing you in for a shoot, it's usually just that one day
Okay.
thing. So there's no contract with it. It's just you're getting paid for. I mean, there is a contract. It's for that one
Sure.
day, but
Yeah.
it's not like an ongoing contract. So you're getting paid for that one day. Usually, I mean, rates wise, your rate just depends on. I always tell my friends this who model too. Your rate is whatever how valuable you think your time is.
So there you can
So
negotiate
how
some.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, every company always tries to lowball you at first, right? I mean, no one is
Well,
going to want
sure.
to
Yeah.
throw you
They're being
as much
smart
amount of
too,
money as possible.
So
Exactly. But I mean, I usually go back and forth. Most of the time, some jobs will offer me, like, let's say they want to do a full day shoot, which is a full 8 hour day. They'll offer like, like they'll offer like $50 an hour,
Okay.
right? And then I'll counter back and I'll say, okay, well, can we work double that? Like, can I do $100 an hour? Is this including lunch? Is this including transportation? Like, what is the deal? So you have to work out all the logistics first. Usually, we'll settle somewhere in between. So that's kind of how I do it. Sometimes I get
Yeah.
more, sometimes I get less. It just depends on the company, honestly. And like I said, it depends on how many looks, what you're modeling. I did do work for this lingerie brand, which my parents were not proud about, but I
Okay.
did work for this lingerie brand a while ago, and I did get paid way more for that than I would for
Yeah.
something with Forever 21 because, I'm keeping my brand in mind. How much money am I getting compensated to kind of alter my brand? Lingerie isn't something that I do often, but I do swim a lot. So I thought, okay, well, if I could do lingerie and have it be tasteful and have it not be raunchy, then why wouldn't I do
Sure.
it? Um, I'm a grown woman, you
Yeah,
know.
I do want to get to that kind of topic, but first, it is like
Yeah,
you're like a badass because you're like your own. I think a bad rap that models might get is like they're not that. They're kind of not that smart or capable.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
obviously went to college
all the
for
time.
journalism, but like you're pretty much your own business owner. Like you have to fight for what
Absolutely.
you want. As far as to pay and negotiate and get deals. Like
Yeah,
I mean, you have to be really
it's
smart
hard.
about it. It takes some skills.
Yeah, it's hard. I almost wish I went back in college and I majored in business because it is a business. At the end of the day, you are marketing yourself and the items that you're getting, whether it be clothes or makeup or anything. Um, you have an audience,
Yeah.
and it's not what I went to school for. So I'm kind of just learning as I go. And it's good to have a network of friends who are kind of doing the same thing that you are, because we're able to talk to each other about brands and what we're saying to brands to get what we want. We're all in it together. I think a bad rep that girls models get a lot is that we don't like each other and that we're catty, when in fact it's the opposite. We're all over here. We have group messages. We're all letting each other know, oh, okay, I got this much money for this many looks from this
Yeah.
brand. They're looking for two other models. Who's available on this date? I mean, we're all trying to win in
So
this
are
game.
you because of that? Do you push yourself to like read books and read business, like to kind of to be, I guess, the best you can? Kind of inform yourself. Is that part of your kind of routine as being a model, or has not that? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do find it so difficult now. I used to read books all the time when I was in school. I felt like it was a little easier, honestly, to sit down and read. Maybe it's because now I'm thrown into like real life. Everything that I do, if I don't make money, it's on my shoulders. It's my fault because I didn't push myself to work these many days throughout the
Yeah.
month. So I do find it a little harder to like read books and stay informed now, but I do read a lot of articles online just because they are quicker, and sometimes it's just condensed knowledge. But yeah, I definitely, like, I try to read as much as I can on business and just like the best ways to market yourself or to market your brand, and how to stay authentic to your brand while also being creative and working with other creatives, and branching out. So it's a fine line. I try to teeter totter um, with my brand as much as possible, but it's hard when I'm still figuring it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
who am I? I'm only 23. I don't know.
You're
I don't
young.
know what I like yet.
That's right. You have time. You have
Yeah,
time.
very.
So going back kind of to
Yeah.
your family thing. So I had in college, I had a number of Filipino friends, and uh,
Mm.
and a number of
Okay.
Asian friends. So obviously, I know family is very important. Has that been a hard thing? You did mention about the lingerie; they were upset. Is that been is so one of your
Yeah.
parents is Filipino and the other is Latino?
Yes, my dad is
Okay, dad's Mexican.
Mexican.
Your
My dad is
mom's
Mexican.
Filipino.
My mom is Filipino.
Okay.
My mom was all for it. My mom. I mean, I feel like my mom kind of lives vicariously
Oh,
through me.
okay.
I'm a 23-year-old girl. I think I look nice sometimes. I clean up
Yes,
well.
I would say so.
Um, and as long as it's classy and tasteful, my mom doesn't care. My dad, it was funny because the day I posted that one of the photos was the day he made an Instagram. He followed me.
Oh,
I was like,
and
of
then
course,
and then
of
you blocked
course.
them. No.
Exactly. I was like, we can't do this. Um, and he was texted me the photo, and he goes, "This is not the first photo I wanted to see on Instagram."
Ah,
It's hard. It's hard because my I have family who love me. I feel like it's I hate to say it, but I feel like it's easier for girls who aren't close to their family to post things like that.
yeah.
Uh, I'm very, very close to my family. My family is like I mean, they're just my foundation. They're my everything. I'm very close to my siblings. I have an older brother, a little brother, and a little sister. So, I have all of them on my Instagram. So whenever I post things, I always try to keep in mind, okay, would I be okay with my siblings seeing this photo? Most of the time, it's yes. I mean, at this point, they're so numb to seeing me in a bikini.
Yeah.
But I mean, as long as it's not, like suggestive, I
So
think I
that's
get a
gonna okay.
pass.
So probably to be honest, obviously there's more money. Probably the more riskier you get. The little I know,
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
I don't know much, but I'm just guessing that. So is that are you? Do you think you are you battling within your like? Would you want to do that because it? No,
No.
but you're not
I
doing it
mean,
because of your
I
family. Like, or what is kind of the the sort of the dilemma you're facing?
I want to go back to school and I want to have a real job and a real career eventually. I mean, okay, realistically, like let's just be honest with ourselves, right? This is a talk I've had to have with myself plenty of times before, and it's at the end of the day, let's say like in 5 years, I'm gonna be 28, right? When I'm 28, don't get me wrong, these Asian genes are still gonna, they're gonna kick in. I'm still gonna look young, but there's always gonna be someone younger, someone hotter, someone smarter than you are, than I am. So I can probably do this Instagram game until maybe I'm in my early
Oh yeah.
30s, until I kind of start, maybe wanting something else for myself, or I start getting kicked out by someone who's just way better than me.
No, you'll still look. My wife. My wife's just turned 34, and she looks amazing. You could do it. No,
Oh,
you
you're
can
so
do it.
sweet.
No, you can do it way. And I think you'll have. I think that the key is, and I think you already tapped into this. It's not. I think you're sure your looks will change, etc. Actually, I think the older people get,
Hmm.
sometimes they look prettier. To be honest, but
Oh,
yes,
wow. Okay.
but
Now I'm looking forward
I
to
think
it.
what will sustain you, and if people latch on to this, that authenticity you're going for, that character, that to be on this show or to reach or to do anything, it's I think that can transcend even the next 20-year-old who might be maybe she'll have the lips and boobs, but she doesn't have that extra. You know what I mean? Because everyone, I mean, I think that's what people are looking
Yeah,
for. To be honest, like
very
if
true.
when you follow somebody, you're following them for more than their looks. To me, obviously that, yeah,
Right, because there's so many hot girls
yeah,
now. There's so many hot people. Yeah, people latch onto personality, absolutely. But I don't know, like I said, I was only doing this in my gap year, and it's shocking, honestly, to me how successful I've been in a small amount of time. It's crazy. I didn't think it was gonna go this way, honestly. I was thinking that it was gonna be one of my failures,
yeah. I've had a lot of those. Yeah.
But no, it's yeah, me too. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I I graduated with a degree in journalism and with a degree in political science. My
Okay.
parents originally wanted me to go to
We
law
got a
school. I
thinker
wanted to
here.
go to
This is
law school.
good. This is good. You're using
So
your brain. I
yeah,
already like you
yeah,
already.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I'm supposed to take both the GRE and the LSAT this year, and I'm supposed to go
oh,
back to school
oh,
next
because
year.
is that what your
They
parents
said
want,
that I'm not allowed to take a third gap
or
year.
you want? Oh, you want?
It's
Okay.
kind of what I want. I want it for myself because realistically, it's hard. This modeling game is hard because you don't you're not saving money for your
Yeah.
401k. You don't there's no social security. There are no benefits in this game. So it's very difficult going into this world and with
Yeah.
no safety net. And I feel like young people don't think about that. I honestly wouldn't think about it if it weren't for my parents constantly. reminding me that I have no safety net.
Do you? So,
So
this is kind of, I was going to ask about a fear, but so obviously, I think how my mind is working. It's like you have a choice. Like it seems like the risk reward for modeling can be it's really high, right? Your risk is high, but your reward could be,
very.
maybe, you could be. I mean, who knows? Million. I mean, if something, if you,
You
yeah,
could
you
create a
could.
whole new lifestyle for
But
yourself.
obviously, the law
Yeah.
route is very more stable, right?
Promising.
So how are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
So there's fears on both sides, I'm sure, right? You're like, oh, fear of maybe missing out on the
Absolutely.
modeling, or fear of making. So how do you deal with that? Like, what is your process, or etc.?
Lots of anxiety. Honestly. I'm trying to find a happy balance, honestly. So realistically, the type of law, when I was in my undergrad, I took a lot of media law classes. One of my favorite professors, her name is Elizabeth Blakey. Shout out Elizabeth. I text her to this day. She
She
actually
better
does a lot
watch
of my
this show right
contracts
now.
for
No,
me.
that's right.
I hope she does. I hope she does. I confide in her with some of my contracts, um, that I have to sign. Sometimes if I don't understand the
Yeah.
rhetoric or whatever, I send her all of that, and she'll read it over for me. And it's funny. She'll tell me, this contract is so ridiculous, and I want her job almost. And so she's told me when I was in my undergrad, she was the first one to tell me, have you ever thought about law school? I feel like you'd be really good at it. And so I kind of went into this world kind of knowing what I wanted to do in law. I want to do entertainment law. I feel like there's a lot of room for that with media law and digital media growing, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. There's only going to be a high
Yeah.
demand for more lawyers that are knowledgeable in that sector. And being on this side, I feel will help me when I'm on the other side, because I'll be able to see. I have been on this side, so I'll be able to know the struggles that influencers and models and whatever people in the entertainment industry are going through. So I'm hoping that if and when I do go back to school, I do something in the entertainment world, because it'll just be easier for me. I would have already created contacts here. I do a good job networking. So I kind of have a plan. That's like kind of where I see myself, but I also don't know
But
what I'm
so
having
you're
for
you're
dinner
you're still
tonight, so
trying to
we'll see.
figure out exactly, yeah, the path of what kind of where you want to go. You're still battling that. Yeah. I mean, that's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. I
Yeah, I
get it.
mean, yeah, this modeling thing is cool for now because I'm saving money. I'm able to kind of just live comfortably, and I'm able to kind of just take my time and figure it out. I don't have. I'm lucky because I don't have to go back to working. A job that I once was. I don't know if you know anything
No.
about my past, but I
Okay.
was a bartender in college, and then before that, I worked in Washington D.C. I lived in Washington D.C. for a while. I worked for a super PAC there, doing just like a lot of um, background stuff for
Nice.
elections. Honestly, it was a lot of like studying and the data and analysis research just regarding the whole like past presidential election and
I love
congressional
politics.
elections.
I
So,
used to live in Charlottesville, Virginia, which is about it's about 2 hours away
oh,
from DC.
really?
So I would
Yeah, yeah. I made a trip
okay.
to Virginia a few
I
times when I
actually
was out there.
led. I
Yeah.
used to lead American history tours of DC. So I'd take people around and tell them about. Yeah.
Cool. I love
Okay.
history. It's my favorite
Wow.
subject.
This is good. Wow. Okay. See, guys. This is why you need to go
Yeah.
subscribe to her. She's not just she's like the best
Exactly.
model out there. That's
I
right.
know
Which
things.
is important. I think at least and
Yeah.
it sounds. I think the big thing I'm getting across, and we just met, guys. We don't know each other. I sense humility in you. Like and,
Oh,
well,
really?
I'm pretty discerning. Like I have a master's in counseling, so I know. Like I'm pretty. I don't know. I can
Okay.
read people. I sense that. Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. You could ask your family. I
Thank
don't know. Maybe we
you.
should get your family on here. Like, is she? But I think y'all get it. Like,
Yeah, right.
no,
They
no,
would
no,
say
no.
the worst.
Which, yeah, I think that's a go a long way. So okay, so you're deciding what to do. Like you talked about acting. Like obviously, if you go to the law
Yeah.
route, do you think that maybe you want to? Do you
Yeah.
think you could push the law route a couple years later? Maybe try the Instagram thing more while you're younger, and then maybe do law
Yeah,
because you could do
absolutely.
law pretty much anytime, I guess.
Anytime. Yeah. I mean, Elizabeth Blakey, my professor, my BFF. She's also a comedian, by the way. She's hysterical. She tells me, she's like, take 2 gap years. She's like, take 3 if you want. She's like, law school will always be there. She's like, you can go slowly. You don't have to do it, today or tomorrow. And I know that. I figure, why not do Instagram while I can? Because I'm not going to have the type of time I have now ever in my life.
Yeah.
So I travel a lot for work. Like tomorrow I leave to Barcelona
Whoa.
for
Okay.
work,
See, I mean, how
and
can you beat that?
then
Is it
yeah,
lonely to go, or do you have family that goes with you, or friends?
I
Okay.
have some friends that go with me. Some friends that I've met who are lucky enough to be able to
So
afford to
they
go
pay.
with me.
Is this
So
like a? Again, we don't know much about the Insta life. Is this all pay? Do they pay for your
mhm.
hotel and food, or do they just pay you to go out there and then you're responsible for your own stuff? Or
No, they pay like
okay,
for the job. So for the time that you're there, they also pay for like your room. They don't really pay too much for your food unless it's the food that
yeah,
you get at the job. But they do pay like per diem, so they pay you on the days that you travel. So even if like you're not, um, let's say like I fly tomorrow, right? I'm not actually modeling tomorrow. I'm gonna spend the whole day flying, but I still get paid somewhat
that's
for
great.
that
So
day.
this thought
So
just passed. So okay, you started out just with like you had 10,000 or 5,000 of your own followers. So it's because you didn't go
yeah,
more like a lot of people, it seems, are going more the lingerie sexy route, right? Like they'll pretty much be half naked.
yeah,
Because that
yeah.
wasn't your choice. How did you you know do you know how you became successful? Like, obviously, did you just have like a friend or yourself taking the selfies, or or whatever you did, or the pictures, or
Yeah.
how do you think you broke the seal there? Because you didn't go that extreme sexual route.
Yeah, no,
Was it your skin?
I think
Oh,
it was definitely my skin. No, it was the eyebrows.
yes.
Honestly, it was working with big companies. I think being reposted by
Yeah.
Forever 21 and BB and Guess and Fashion Nova and all these bigger name brands. I just I think that's honestly how I grew. That's how a lot of people saw me. I mean, it was crazy. I remember being at the mall, and I was at the Americana, and this it was the first time anybody had ever come up to me, and I had just gotten reposted by Forever 21. I think it was like one of the first times, and I remember it was on my 21st birthday, and I had just hit like 20,000 followers, right? And this girl comes up to me and she goes, "Oh my god, um, I think I just ordered clothes on Forever 21, and your face was on the newsletter." I was
Wow.
like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah, look." And it's the first time I'd ever seen the newsletter. I hadn't even seen it yet. The only time I'd seen myself on the Forever 21 website was when I was on their Instagram. She was like, "Yeah, this is you, right? You're Sav Palacio." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Yeah, that is me." I was like,
Did you
"What's up?"
reach out to them?
And Forever 21 actually reached out to me. I don't even know
Did you
how they
tag
found
them and
me.
like?
Well,
Is
now
that
I
like?
know.
Yeah. How did they find you? That's crazy.
So my point of contact there now, we're really good friends. We go out together now. I asked her how in the world she found me, and she said she was just on the explore page, and she had seen a selfie that I had taken. She thought that I was so cute. So then she pitched me to her boss, I guess, and the rest of the social media team at Forever 21. They
That
all
must have been a
agreed,
good selfie.
obviously, and
You
I
got
guess so.
skills.
Yeah,
Savannah has skills, guys.
I guess so. Yeah, and people are always telling me to ditch the selfie, and I'm like,
That's
it's
right.
what made me. I
I
can't
know.
ditch the selfie. So yeah, I like I said, I've gotten lucky. So
Wow. Okay, I want to ask a spicy
mm.
question because we got, of course, the males. I'll
Okay.
probably put some thumbnail on you. You have a lot. Anyways, you are very pretty, but because you are
Thank you.
kind of in this world of modeling, and obviously you wear probably more lingerie or bikinis than most people on a daily basis, or nice dresses. Do you
Right.
think you're in tune more with your
Right.
sexuality because you do all these photo shoots and stuff, or no?
No. I feel like the only time I am sexy is when I'm in front of a camera. Isn't that weird?
Okay.
I think
Oh yeah. Oh, we gotta explain. Okay, we
I
gotta
don't
go into
know.
this a little bit. This is fascinating to me. So why do you
Yeah.
think like? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like when I'm in front of the camera, like it's like how do I explain this? When I'm in front of the camera, I am my like my persona. I don't
Mm.
know. I because I'm real on my Instagram, but it's like a persona. It's almost like a front. Like I'm not actually sexy in real life. I feel like I'm more I hang out with my siblings a lot and I hang out with my family a lot. So I'm very goofy and I mean, I'm pretty funny, I think. And so I don't know, I'm always goofing around. I'm always smiling. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm never really like in this like, sex kitten type, mood. And so when I am in front of a camera and when I am in a bikini, I feel like it's almost one of my only times to channel that. And so I do give a little more shoulder, and I do give more of like a that mesmerized look with like the open mouth. And I don't know, it's funny to me because my friends always tell me this. Actually, they're always like, why are you always so like sexy online and you're not even like that in real life? I'm like, I
No,
don't know what
actually,
it
no.
is,
I
but
mean, it's actually
yeah.
you're not alone. There's a lot. Actors, musicians, people at work. Like you
Yeah.
do. It's like that stage presence, or when you do public speaking, people change. It's interesting how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a performer, I guess.
but no, that's. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously art, right? Like not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So okay, so
Yeah.
maybe we can get you more in tune. No, I'm just kidding. In tune with the sexuality on the outside. Are you dating anyone, or is this or you
Maybe.
don't even, you're not, you don't, is that off
No.
table, or is that you don't even care?
Uh, no, I don't even care. I told you I'm an open book. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
dating anyone. Not seriously, at least. I mean, I do go out on dates, but no, I'm not dating anyone seriously. It's hard, honestly, for me to date people because I'm always out of town, and most men, honestly, I will say, just can't keep up with that.
Yeah,
They're
they
just.
don't have the
I feel like
emotional
sometimes men can be more needy.
capacity. No. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, like, yes, men, whatever, they're strong and buff, whatever, as they might think, but I feel like guys are more emotional sometimes, in a relationship, especially in this modeling game. A lot of my job requires me to be around men, and most of the time in like, I'm not usually in lingerie. I'm usually like in a bikini or I'm in like different outfits, and like I'm dressed to the T, and it can be hard for men to be okay with that. It can be hard for anyone to be okay with that. So I mean,
Well, yes.
if I on top of
Yeah.
me not being in town, it's like hard. I guess the trusting is hard, which is
Well,
understandable. So I'm also, I don't know if I'm really looking to date
yeah.
anyone seriously right
Well,
now.
if you do, definitely, yeah, like you said, don't be with someone who's really jealous. I find that the really jealous people are
Yeah.
not the greatest. It's interesting because I'm writing.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working on a book for years. I've got, I don't know, maybe like 100 pages called Sex and Connection, because I studied psychology
Mm,
undergrad. I
okay.
love men and women and like their differences, similarities, how they kind of, et cetera, work. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. Okay, so no, so she's open, guys. She's open. Don't DM her though.
I am single.
Don't creep her out.
Yeah, I never respond to
Oh, you
DMs.
don't? Okay.
I don't
Good thing I
know,
didn't DM you. Good
no.
thing I
And
emailed you.
I've
Otherwise, it'd be like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, I actually only take business
Okay.
through email, so that's a good thing because it has to go through my
Yes.
manager first, so that
The
it
creeps.
filters. But yeah, no, I mean, I've had a few famous people slide into
Ooh.
the DMs, and most of the time I just don't answer because I feel like if they're DMing me, maybe somehow we'll cross paths in
Well,
person,
wait,
and
hold
then
on.
they can come up
We
to
have
me and talk to
so
me.
famous people DM you and you don't respond. So what? Like most people are at like. I get
Yeah,
humble here, guys. I'm saying like most people latch. Even myself early when I started YouTube, and it's changed now. Like after, like you just wanna get. there's a desire to get known, right? I think the biggest thing for me, I wanted my channel to grow a lot, so because I would have like an unconventional kind of
Yeah.
life. That was kind of the status I was after, like not your typical job.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to fight against that. And everyone, I think there's a lot of fake humility out there. To be honest, I mean, I know I
Yeah,
went through it,
there
and
is.
now it's like I don't. That's
There
why I
is.
changed. Like I don't. Now I can genuinely say I think you really have to go through that failure or that realizing that, you know what, my intentions, I that it was presented in a fake way. And I think when you go through that or something similar, you can get back to the genuineness, and not just go after the clout. And
I could
that's
agree. I
tough.
couldn't agree more.
you know
Yeah, absolutely. 110%. I mean, um, that's the problem, is that a lot of people, when you first start on this game, and it's totally normal because everybody thinks that, everybody wants more followers. Everybody wants to be known by more people because in a lot of people's mind, followers equals money, when in fact it doesn't. Getting followers on Instagram is a totally different beast than monetizing your
mm.
Instagram. I mean, and that's something that I learned the hard way, actually, because your followers don't pay your bills, right? It's not like how when you stream on Twitch people can donate to you, right? Like my followers are not Venmoing me like every day that I post. But in fact, I get money off of sponsorships. And so learning how to monetize yourself on Instagram can be hard because, well, if you're a girl and you're posting only risque photos, what type of brands are going to want to work with you? Well, probably only the brands that are risque, or brands that can use your photos. You are kind of limiting yourself from working with brands that are family oriented, because brands that are family oriented aren't going to be posting titty
Yeah.
pics on their pages. So it's like figuring out who you are, what your brand is, and how to monetize yourself. They're all different, and I feel like people can kind of get, what the kids say nowadays, lost in the sauce, because you're here and you're growing, and people think that, oh, I gained 200 followers today and 300 yesterday, I'm doing so well for myself, when in fact you're not. You're just gaining more followers. You're not getting brand deals. You're not signing contracts. Your numbers are just going up.
So for the, like, say there, I mean, I know you have a lot of admirers and stuff, like maybe younger girls or 20-year-olds who are starting, like what would you said
Yeah.
advice, like monetizing, like what advice would you kind of give to those new people? Like you said, followers aren't everything. So is it more just being aware and reading about how to work things out, or is it more through experience, or what kind of tips?
Those are the only DMs that I honestly do answer, is when girls ask me about, or even guys, when they ask, how do I get into this? Because the industry is so big and there's so much money to be made. There is so much room for so many more people. So if you want to get into it as soon as possible today. And I always tell them consistency is key. So posting consistently is going to help you grow quickly. Get a lawyer too. If you are starting to get brand deals, get a lawyer. Have your lawyer read over the contract, because the number one thing you want to protect in this world is yourself. You want to protect your brand. You want to protect your, like, who you are, and just whatever type of um, Instagram persona you're creating for yourself. So definitely read through your contracts and never be afraid to ask for more money. I mean, at the end of the day, if someone says no, or if the company says no, you're stuck in the same place you are now.
Yeah,
So that's the advice that I
and that
usually give.
last advice is amazing. It's even in like regular work jobs, a lot of people, they'll get mad or resentful towards the company because they feel like they're not getting paid, but then they're not asking. It's crazy how just
Exactly.
ask and fight for yourself. And the problem, because it's
Yeah.
in colleges, no, we could get off on a whole tangent in colleges, but the
Oh,
education doesn't.
please.
No,
Colleges
this
don't
is
teach
what they need to teach. Like,
anything.
honest, I would love to take, even though I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Well, did I ever think about modeling? I don't know about that, but I probably could have. I don't know.
I
Maybe.
can't see you, so
Oh, you can't
maybe.
even see me?
No, I
What?
can't.
This whole time?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
couldn't see this whole
goodness!
time. I didn't know. I didn't know if I was
Wow.
supposed to. I
This
can see myself
is
though.
okay. We'll have to. Okay, well, that's hilarious. You should have said something. It's okay. Anyways, No, no.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but yeah,
It's
it's
okay.
like I would love to take a class, like someone like you teaching a class. You know, like the Instagram, like the modeling life. I feel like that would be so much more valuable
Yeah.
than just like you know whatever.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If I had someone to tell me what I needed to do, I would have gotten to this point 6 months ago in half the time. But like I said, it's been a learning experience. I don't regret it at all. I mean, there are so many times where I should have asked for more money. There's so many times where I should have walked away and I should have said no to a brand deal because I was being exploited. As a young girl in this industry, I'm educated, like I have a college degree. I have no problem speaking up for myself, but I still feel like I get walked all over in this industry because at one point I didn't have a manager. It wasn't until I got a manager where things kind of started to play out better for myself because I had someone else speaking for
Mm.
me. And some of the time now I do take over my Instagram. I mean, I do take over my email, and I'm able to do it for myself better now. Um, but when I do get into like a little bit of a rough patch with a brand, I tell them, you know what? I thank you so much for communicating with me, and for always being so quick with the emails, but I don't feel like I'm getting what I want out of this contract right now. I'm gonna pass you back to my manager and see
Yeah.
if you guys can work it out. I'm just honest with them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling someone that you think you deserve more. I mean, at the end, and that is the number one key to just Instagram and to life is like you have to understand how much you think you're worth. So when you're setting those rates for yourself as a model or whatever, you have to think about, okay, how much is my time worth? Like if I were working a regular job, I would be getting paid this much amount of money. I always think about how much I could be getting paid if I was working still for that super PAC. I would be getting paid $25 an hour. So my minimum for any type of
Yeah,
job,
that's fine.
sorry, hold on, my dog, Teddy. My minimum for any type of job is not gonna fall any below that. And because it's my brand and because I'm gonna be expected to post on Instagram, I tack on more money to that because I mean that's just what I think I'm worth. So you have to be very self-aware in this game, and you have to be very confident. And it can be very hard to be confident in a world that is constantly judging you.
Yes,
So
and you're kind of they obviously the companies know how things work. You're just the newbie, so it can be hard to.
yeah.
Yeah, you really have to know yourself so you can have the confidence to be like, no, you know what, I'm gonna or be bold. And no one likes confrontation. This is what I learned. Like everyone hates
Yeah.
confrontation, but sometimes you can always confront people with in a loving kind of way. You don't have to be you don't have to be bitter and
Yeah. Yeah.
harsh. And,
You don't have to be rude. It's just business. You just
yeah,
have to be bold and straight to the point. And honestly, companies appreciate that. They don't want someone who's going to beat around the bush. They want somebody who knows what they want and who's going
yeah.
to ask for it.
Well,
So,
Savannah, is there anything else you would like to say before we kind of close out, or anything on your mind or thoughts, or
oh, no, just thank you so much for having me. This was my very first podcast that
wow,
I've ever been on.
of
So I hope
course.
I did well. I hope I
No,
didn't bore
everyone's going to be
anyone.
looking at you and
But,
blurring out me. Maybe I should just blur out myself. Be like, it's just,
uh,
you know,
I don't have any makeup on right now. Everyone always says like, oh, can you do a makeup look or can you do a makeup routine? They want to see what I look like in my everyday life. And honestly, the only time I ever put on makeup is to take an Instagram photo. I hate
do
putting
you
on
have
makeup. It's
makeup
so
on now?
tiring and it's so
Well, you
expensive.
look great.
No, I don't have any
So
makeup on now. Like
you could just
I could do
go all
this.
natural out now.
Thank
Honestly,
you,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
If you overdo makeup, I actually don't like overdone makeup, like where you can visibly see. Yeah,
I don't think anyone does, but yet all these makeup gurus on YouTube and stuff, they do very well.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean,
I
whatever.
guess
That's
so.
their audience, though.
True,
That's their
true.
brand. See?
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on, guys. Make sure you go subscribe to her, follow her on
Thank you.
Instagram as I have, and you just got to keep liking her photos, talking. Don't DM her. No, I'm just
Yes.
kidding. That's right.
Email me. Just kidding.
But no, I appreciate it, guys. This has
Yeah.
been fun, and again, this is life,
Thank
sharing
you.
life stories, and I've enjoyed it. So we'll see you on the next one, and see you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. See ya.